Hello to my Aquas. Hello to my Aquarius. All right, Aquarius, let's see what this upcoming week looks like for you now that you all are in your new reality. Now that you're in your new reality, Aquarius, let's get into it. We're going to try to keep it short, or as however long Spirit wants me to keep the message to you. We are still in the new moon phase, so hopefully you all are getting your rest. I'm going to keep emphasizing that in the new moon phase. And so, of course, you all know if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back, Aquarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is a general reading, so take only what resonates with you. Take only what resonates with you. So again, don't forget to get your rest. Let your body sync with the rhythms of the moon. We are in eclipse season, right? In eclipse season. We just came off of one cycle. One cycle closed. We had a full wolf moon. We had a full blood moon in Virgo. Virgo rules 6th house. And 6th house is all about health, work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. It ties us to Mercury, which is retrograde until April 7th, and that will be like this upcoming Sunday. So it ties us in there into that. Planets don't move backwards. They don't move at a slower pace. I have an entire retrograde series over on the second channel. You can go check that out. It's called the Knowledge Channel. That link is in the description. Also, you can pull your birth chart for free. That link is also in the description. You don't need your time to pull your birth chart. I also have a birth chart series over on the second channel as well. So there's a lot of free information out there while you all are resting, trying to prepare yourselves for a softer life, right? So try not to overthink it. This is a great time for you all to replace like to fill your mind up with new knowledge. That's what Mercury really is all about. Because you hear a lot of things that you can't do during Mercury retrograde, but it's nice to focus on what you can do during Mercury retrograde. So one of the things you can do is increase your knowledge and learning during Mercury retrograde. So read a new book. So we had a new moon in Aries, and we're still feeling the effects of it. Modern day ritual, like I mentioned in your previous reading, would be to close out a cycle. Aries rules 1st house, and the 1st house is all about personality, temperament, appearance, self-image, first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life. So first impression. Sometimes people have gotten the wrong impression about you, first impression about you. Sometimes you may have gotten the wrong first impression about others. If people are still in your life, you can schedule a chat with them, however you schedule the communication with them. There's many different forms of communication, whatever works best for you. If people are still in your life, just to close out a cycle while you're still getting some rest, you can pray about it first. Remember, Aries is ruled by Mars. We're not talking about any Aries that you know. You can have Aries in your birth chart, but it's really your 1st house. Like, that's what your 1st house is all about, like first impressions, right? Let's see, I'll make sure I'm trying to cover everything. Then the moon moves into Taurus. That's going to affect, because the moon affects parts of our bodies. That affects our neck, vocal cords, our throats, and our thyroid glands, right? So in other words, throat chakra, right? So some of the things that you can do during this week for your throat chakra is journal or talk through your feelings to release any blocked energy. You can try affirmations. If talking is something like, let's say, for instance, public speaking, let's say, for instance, that's something that has always scared you. Maybe try writing it out, like preparing a speech. If that's something that you have to do, get ready for. Singing or chanting could be something, right? Humming. If you're trying to learn something, maybe make a song out of it. You can practice mindful listening. That's something you can do. You can wear or visualize blue, because blue connects us with the throat chakra. It's associated with blue. You can use crystals, right? Lapis lazuli, aquamarine, sodalite are some of the ones. Place them on your throat during meditation or wear them as jewelry if you have them. Please do not, you don't have to go spend any extra money. If you have them, you have them. If you don't stress, right? Try breathing exercises. You also can hydrate and nourish yourselves with herbal tea, honey, if you can take it, ginger, licorice root, soothing things, you know, drink plenty of water, get your rest, those kind of things, right? So let's get into it. So yes, those are just some tips. Let's get into it. I've already prayed over your cards, already cleared the space. You're trying to live a softer life. Those are just some tips. Let's do it. All right. Stop repeating shadow behavior. Turn the page. You've healed. See? See? There you go, Aquarius. There you go. You've healed. I'm picking up on somebody's energy. Somebody's overthinking something. Somebody's overthinking. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully just that little bit of information helped. Just that little bit of information helped you. Yeah. Because these moon phases, as it affects our bodies, you know, and it's moving down, you know, from your head all the way down to, you know, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, affecting your body, you need to know, you know, how you can work on those parts of your body. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, I know people want to just get to the reading. They just want to, well, how's the week going to be? How's the week going to be? How's the week going to be? And sometimes you really want to slow down. If you want to live a softer life, sometimes you don't want to miss a step. Remember, you all are ruled by Saturn also. Saturn's a pretty serious planet. And while these planets are retrograde, remember, Mercury is still retrograde, but so is Venus, right? You don't want to be a hidden enemy to yourselves by missing a step. Remember, planets don't move backwards and they don't move at a slower pace. So you need to slow down, right? Take advantage of when these planets go retrograde. Right? All right. Let's get it. So yeah, Taurus is ruled by Venus. And Taurus rules second house. It's the house of personal resources, money, habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, income. So, of course, if you're working on your throat chakra and you have some questions around, you know, self-worth, or you want to talk to someone about financial planning or those kind of things, and you're, you know, struggling to ask questions, hello. You want to make sure your throat chakra is good, right? You want to have clarity, right? You want to slow down. You want to receive, right? You want to be in receiving mode, because it's not just about paper and coins, money. You're trying to negotiate something. You're trying to negotiate a contract, or let's say some of you all are looking for jobs. Whatever it is you're doing, slow down. Slow down. Here we have the Two of Cups. Yeah, Two of Cups. So, by the way, both of these are your hands. This is duality here. So, soulmate energy, right? So, you're receiving messages about what your soul needs, right? So, we're talking about water. And so, again, this speaks to you living a softer life. And again, that speaks to nourishing your soul, right? So, again, your moon sign, water, right? So, somebody needs to pour more into themselves to balance yourselves out. So you don't get spiritually dehydrated. The overthinking, you're an air sign, right? Because you can start overthinking and don't even realize that your cup of water is evaporating. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. So here we have Two of Cups. Two of Cups. Yeah, I see you receiving money. So some messages are coming through. You're in receiving of some messages coming through. Some messages are coming through. So someone is sending you a message about something, Aquarius. Slow down, slow down, slow down. And it's something around money. Something around money. And something is growing. Something is growing. This does not always mean that someone is pregnant, just so we're crystal clear, right? It doesn't mean that someone is pregnant. It just means something is being created. Something is being created. Right? Maybe a contractual agreement is being created. Something is being created. Because remember, Venus also connects us with Libra, right? So Libra rules 7th house, right? So 7 is closing something out, right? So Source is saying to you, a cycle has just closed, right? That's 7. Something just closed, right? And Source is saying there's light and dark side to everything, like this right here. Something just closed, light and dark side. We're talking about duality here. Something has just closed, right? And whenever something closes out, somebody's going to always feel like they won, and somebody's going to always feel like they lost something, okay? Because there's a rebirth, right? So on the rebirth side, there's a death, there's a rebirth. Someone's going to mourn the loss of something while someone's rejoicing something being a birth of something, if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you, right? So an example of that would be, let's say for instance, you're moving on from a job, right? And I mentioned this one time before, and I don't want to take too much time with this because I want to, like I said, try to keep the video as short as possible for those of you all. So let's say, for instance, I hear a lot of people say during Mercury retrograde, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. So much so that it's almost programmed into people's minds of what you shouldn't do. Like people are almost stuck on what they shouldn't do to a point where they forget what they can do. Don't travel, don't sign a new contract, don't do this, don't do that. Well, you still see people traveling, you still people, by train, bus, plane. It really is slow down, pay attention, right? So just for example, let's say you're sending out emails. An example of that would be send the email to yourself first, because maybe you're, you're multitasking, you're doing multiple things at one time, you're not even paying attention to how fast you're responding to something. Send it back to yourself to make sure you didn't leave something out, or there was no misspelling, or it's a typo or whatever. It's not going to auto correct. Y'all know what I'm saying. Send it back to yourself so you can look at it and go, oh, you know what, I meant to add something. Just send it back to yourself. That's what Mercury retrograde, or if you're making travel plans, slow down and check to see maybe if you can find a discount somewhere else, or just slow down, and that's what Source is trying to help you to do, is live a softer life. Messages are coming in about something has ended, right? Something has ended and something is growing. So your money is growing, money is coming in for you, so that means there's a loss somewhere else in the universe, right? So you need to stop repeating shadow behavior, right? And repeating the shadow behavior is overthinking, taking too long to process your emotions, being fixated on something. That's what that is. Like I said, being fixated, listening to that whole programming of you shouldn't do this during Mercury retrograde, you shouldn't do that during Mercury retrograde, like all of this, like. So yeah, here we have the Emperor card. This is the time to get structured. This is the time to get structured. This is like I said, first house. Some people had an impression about you. Some people had a first impression about you, but you all are prayer warriors. So this again speaks to first house, your personality, your temperament, your appearance, your self-image, the first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life, right? Outlook on life. Yeah, so there's some energies just now looking like, wow, some people are feeling foolish that you moved on, Aquarius, because again, you being a prayer warrior, there's a big difference in someone being outward, like being aggressive. Someone who's aggressive and someone who is assertive. right? The where a lot of people misunderstand your sign. I can think of quite a few signs off top, but since we're talking about your sign, we'll just keep it with just your sign. When I get to their sign, I'll talk about how people misunderstand other signs, but just what we're talking about yours. Where a lot of people misunderstand your sign, Aquarius, is with your ruling planet, Saturn. Saturn is a very, very serious outer planet, so much so that people sometimes think you all are too serious and almost workaholics. I mean, you could be, but you probably just really enjoy what you do. Saturn rules Capricorn. Capricorn rules 10th house. 10th house is really where people find purpose. It's that inner calling, the inner calling, right? But your sign rules 11th house, right? So you're always forward thinking, the innovative forward thinking, operating in that north node almost by default, but you're always thinking again about the future. Okay, let's think about the future planning. Let's getting excited about, okay, like mind always there, like they thinking about the future, right? And so people are starting to really like the way you think, Aquarius. And so you really want to slow down, because Source is trying to tell you that it's time for you to live a softer life, a soft life. But if you don't slow down and get the message, and stop repeating shadow behavior, you're going to constantly be misunderstood, constantly. So I see money coming across your path, but there's some energies that feel some kind of way, because again, it's just balanced spiritual law. You're gaining something, so somewhere else there's a loss being felt. Here's a Hierophant. Yeah. So the loss is being felt in terms of personal resources, money, possessions, financial security, some form of, like, somebody feels like their income is leaving, or some kind of self-worth in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? Right? But you and somebody have in common is that you and someone were being used as a pawn in a game. So that's what something was happening. You and someone were being used as a pawn in a game. And again, this is universe. So take whatever resonates with you. Take only what resonates with you. Yeah. So this is the Ace of Cups. You're protecting something that you're creating. Protecting something that you're creating. Yeah. So you're on top of something. So this is where someone almost feels like, well, not almost, this is Jupiter. So Jupiter is a planet of growth, opportunity. You're looking towards the future, those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. Yep. So something is happening really fast. Something is happening pretty fast. Something is happening pretty fast here. So this is the Eight of Wands. So there's a quick progression of something that's happening pretty fast here. Okay, I saw that card there. And so practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Stay at a high frequency, in a posture of gratitude. The example that I was going to give is, like, for instance, if you're leaving a job, for instance, So let's say, for instance, because I mentioned something about what I hear a lot of times, and I see in print and magazines, is and just talking to some of you all, not just Aquarius, but just in general. A lot of people will say, "Oh, that's right, Mercury is retrograde. I probably shouldn't look for a job right now," that kind of thing. And I'm like, no, it would be perfect time to look for a job because you hear it so much. There's a lot of people that's programmed to not do that, right? Perfect time to do it, right? But send it back to yourself as if you're receiving it, so that you're looking back over it, like you're reviewing it, like as if you were the hiring, manager. Plus, it's all these tools and stuff out here. If you're on, I mean, there's so much wealth of knowledge out here that people are giving out information. It's not even funny. I mean, for real, like this on Instagram, on LinkedIn, there's just so much information out here. TikTok, I mean, the younger generation is giving out stuff. The older generation is giving out tips. I mean, just all YouTube, it's so much information. But anyway, send it back to yourself. Look at it. Compare it to some of the things that people are saying on social media. The people that are out there actually actively out there where you're trying to get to. Look at all of that, right? Go back, review it. Listen to what tools they're using, all of those things, and saying, okay, let me tweak this, let me look at this, let me look at that. Okay, there you go. Because water is creativity. Water is creativity, right? Yeah, water is creativity. Yeah, so here we have the Two of Swords here. Yeah, so you definitely have ancestral protection all around you. Yeah, ancestral protection all around you, watching out for you. Here we have the King of Pentacles. And so you have a wealth. So this is right here when we talk about creativity. So what I just shared with you all, if you're creating something, so it's like there's a wealth of physical knowledge. This is the King of Pentacles. You have a wealth of physical knowledge to create. A wealth of physical knowledge to create something that you can send back to yourself during Mercury retrograde and say, okay, like I said, Mercury retrograde, it's retrograde until April 7th. If you want to wait, that's up to you. But if you want to wait, that's up to you. But yeah. Yeah, so Source is saying you poured so much into other people, places, and things. Now it's time for you to learn how to pour back into yourself. That is how Source is helping you to live a softer life. So stop repeating shadow behavior of over pouring into everybody else, but then you're emotionally dehydrated when it's time to be poured back into. Yeah. So I see a breakthrough. You're going back through your mind, through your memory of some things. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, and that's going to help you to that's going to help you to walk away from, some energies. That's going to help you to finally walk away from that emotion of just continuing to keep pouring into just emotions, giving any kind of emotions around, whomever or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're not. So the Devil card comes out. The Devil card in tarot connects us with enslaved to obsession, lust, restrictions, those kind of things. Any energies who believe those things, right, about you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, that you're enslaved to anything, right? It doesn't really matter. So say you're not giving any energy to it. None whatsoever. Yeah. You're very clear-headed. This right here. This owl right here. You have enough knowledge. All right. All right, all right, all right. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that is it, and that is all. That is it, and that is all. That is all. That is all. That is it, and that is all. That is it, and that is all. So be still. Be still. Be still and be still. Yeah, so let's see. I'm seeing here, this is where someone is aiming higher. This is, well, it says full moon in Sagittarius, but Sagittarius rules 9th house. Sagittarius rules 9th house. We're not talking about any Sagittarius that you know, but Sagittarius rules 9th house. And 9th house it moves you from 8th house. That's the 8 is the karmic number. 8th house is like renewal, death, transformation, like shared, finances, inheritance, loans, occult, mystery, intimacy, those kind of things. But 9th house connects us with higher education, philosophy, law, religion, travel, ethics, morals, personal beliefs, spiritual beliefs, all those things, right? So anybody that's demonizing anything that you created, whether it's people, places, or things, including businesses, whether it's or demonizing your kids, or like you could have friends or whatever that compare their kids to your kids, and I've talked to some of you all that some of you all have said some of your neighbors have compared their kids to your kids. Like, what? How are people so bold? But anyway, those kind of things. Anyway, so you're somebody is preparing to live a softer life. That's what I'm seeing here in your cards. So that's what I'm seeing for you all. Don't restrict yourself in your mind with that. Don't restrict yourself in your mind with all of that. Alrighty. So, the spirit of love. So, don't search for true love, for it will find you if you just hold on to who you are. The world already loves your essence, so don't change it for anyone. All right, energetic pull. So a true master knows that you create through your actions. Do not hesitate when you feel the energy pulling you. So follow it fearlessly, and then everything is here. Embrace the spiritual belief that everything already exists in the here and now. So live in the present moment and be graceful for what you have, and rejuvenate yourself. So know your limits and allow them to guide you. Limitations can teach you to take better care of yourself. You have full permission to rest and say no. So yeah, use this time to relax. Use this time to relax this week. So yeah, after that, around April 3rd, it's going to move into Gemini. That's going to affect your shoulders, arms, hands, bronchial tubes, lungs. All of that is getting you prepared for first quarter moon. First quarter. Which we're going to have a first quarter moon in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, right? So sweet success. I see that someone has star power. And I see you're hitting a restart button, which is really nice. Mind power here. And so I'm seeing a gift here for you. This is really nice. Yep. That is what I have for you all. So stay on top of things. Like stay, continue paying attention to things. And that is what I have. 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 I think that's it. I will see you all. Make it a great week. Make it a great week. Okay? Make it a great week. And I will see you all in the next video. All right? Bye.